through the week here. We've got Representative Nick Bain in the studio. He represents District 2. What all counties does that include?
It's only Alcorn County.
Just Alcorn, okay.
Just the bulk of Alcorn, about 2/3 of Alcorn County. City of Corinth, mostly west of Alcorn County, and those areas. Of course, you've been up there to Jacinto. I don't represent Jacinto. That is, my family lives there. That's where I grew up. But that part is a little bit south of my district. But
okay. Yeah, I enjoyed that. For those, before we get started into the political stuff, tell folks about that. Because I've found that it's kind of known in that part of the state, but you get outside that part of the state, it's not known. But it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. Look, I think Phil Bryant was the first governor not to come who actually won governor. Every governor that since these political speaking, we have a big one on July the 4th every July the 4th, and then on the statewide years, it's a huge turnout. Probably 20,000 people come to just this little plot of land in northeast Mississippi, which used to be the county seat of Tishomingo County, old Tishomingo County, called Jacinto, and the courthouse is still standing there. It's a remarkable courthouse. And they're doing big things there right now. They've had a big Christmas gathering. They're doing old-timey picking on the courthouse square type stuff. So it's really been rejuvenated here in the last couple of years. And as you know, the political speaking is second, probably only to Neshoba.
Agree.
When it comes on July the 4th, and it's a great place to be. I think they've been doing it for about 3 years, Gerard. Wow. I'm 42. So I don't think I've ever missed one. Like I said, it's not in my district, but my parents and I grew up about 2 miles from that courthouse, so it's a special place in my heart.
I mean, it really is kind of the old days of political stump speaking. It's what's so cool about it, because people are all sitting and seated out along the kind of sloping hill there. In the front of the courthouse with the giant oaks and the trees.
That's right.
And they set up their blankets and their lawn chairs, and they take it all in. And you speak, as I recall, Nick, the year I attended, and I intend to go back, it's 2019, you just pull up kind of a flatbed trailer. And step up on there and got a microphone and speakers. You got, 10 minutes, and they hook you off of there, man, if you don't
That's
stop.
right.
But you did it last time when I was there. You were moderating.
Like you said, it's an old-timey Southern stump speaking, political speaking. The show was great and unique, and Jacinto's just as unique.
Yeah. All right, so I'm told that the locals say it as J Center. Is that right?
J Center, Jacinto, Jacinta, Jacinto, however you want to do it. But we all gathered there.
And so, for those of you watching us on C Spire TV and our other video feeds, Nick brought me a nice Jacinto hat here. I really appreciate that, because I'm going to wear this playing golf, and everybody's going to ask me, what the heck is that? And I'm going to explain
it to them. That's exactly right. Give us some pub.
It's awesome. All right, well, appreciate you coming in, and look forward to attending again. It is really an incredible, if you're a political junkie and you're interested in that kind of stuff. And it's from folks running for justice of the peace all the way up to U.S. Senator and everything in between.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. So appreciate that. All right. You still are chair of House Jud B in the House. Is that right?
That's correct. Judiciary B Committee, which for your listeners and those who may not know, does primarily we look at the criminal statutes, criminal law enforcement, public safety type issues.
Okay.
So that's sort of what's in my wheelhouse.
What's on the plate this session?
Well, we got a few things. Number one, and what I really wanted to kind of bring to your listeners and to the air for people to be aware of, is we've got a package coming for this fentanyl crisis that we're in. I've seen recent studies that show that fentanyl is now the number one killer for people ages 18 to 45. That's my age range. That's our up-and-coming youth, among college students, among others. It is the number one killer, and it's out there. In Corinth, I do a lot of criminal defense. I do a lot of stuff with this area of the law, and I've talked to clients who say they can get fentanyl for $10, Gerard, $10, and it will kill 3 people.
Unbelievable.
And it's absolutely dangerous, and people don't realize that how prevalent it is. So we've got a package of bills coming that we're looking to try to help ease this some. I don't know that without shutting down the border, and we know where we're at with that, I don't know that we can ever completely stop it.
Right.
But I think, some of the tough things, people always talk about legislators and legislators and what we do. I've talked to dozens and dozens of people every year. And I've talked to dozens and dozens of mamas and daddies who have lost their child due to fentanyl.
Wow.
It is stuff that really keeps me up at night, because I see the faces of the moms who come into my office crying, who come in with pictures of their loved ones who have been lost because of this fentanyl. They took a Xanax that was laced with it. They've taken a hydrocodone that was laced with it inadvertently. So it's really something I think that's incumbent upon us to start looking at. So we've got a number of bills that I would just want to make the public aware of and to talk about. One of the first ones is a drug-induced homicide statute. This is a bill that I've crafted from Rhode Island. And basically what it does is it creates a homicide for a person who was killed as a result of taking a pill. That person who sold it got something of value for that pill, can be charged if it was the proximate cause of the death. Now, certainly that is with an adult. With a minor, it doesn't matter. The difference here is, I want to be perfectly clear, is there has to be something of value given. So they have to sell it. Now, why is that important? Because I don't want it to go to addicts. If Gerard, you and I are addicts, and I share a pill with you, and I give it to you, I don't think I should. That addict needs help. Yeah, I don't know that they need to be going to jail. Right. So I want to get those people that are exploiting those addicts, and up the chain, that are making money off of people dying. Like I told you, $10, and somebody's going to die off of that. That's the cost of doing business for a lot of these dealers. So we're going to offer that homicide statute. In that statute, it offers two provisions: a Good Samaritan provision. In our hypothetical that I gave you, if I'm giving you something and I call 911 or I do CPR on you, they can't charge me. Again, trying to save lives.
I got you.
Secondly, we're going to, again, those people that are sharing are going to have an affirmative defense to any type of charges that may be levied against them.
I mean, is there any objections from a number of the members of the House at this point? Concerns about this?
No,
do you feel good about it?
I do. This has been a cumulative. I mean, again, we've worked on this for a year and a half or more. I've talked to numerous groups around the state, prosecutors, law enforcement. The biggest concern people had was they don't want to capture that low-hanging fruit of the addicts and just lock people up for being an addict. Yeah. So I think we've covered that with this statute. Everybody wants to go after the dealers, the people making money off of this, the stuff coming in across the border and trying to get those guys. It's a tough thing to prosecute. I will admit that. It's a tough thing to try to get, but we got to do something. Yeah. There's too many people, especially in our university towns, that are dying over this thing. Yeah,
and it doesn't seem to get a lot of attention and traction in the press, Nick, but digging into this a little bit, you're right. I mean, there are folks that are dying, especially in our universities, but we don't hear a lot about it.
You don't, and it's really sad. I mean, it really... So that's another part of this package, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's another part of this package that we're doing, is we're creating we've with tobacco, we created programs to make people aware of tobacco. We've created other programs and curriculum to do that. We're doing that here. Okay. We're going to create programs where the state starts advertising about fentanyl and the problems with fentanyl. We're going to tell our youth in schools. We're going to create a curriculum to tell them make people aware of this. I think the awareness and the education of it is the number one way to try to cure this problem.
Well, this is so scary. We're going to a break. Can you hang around?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is so scary because it's masked. it's masqueraded. You don't know.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. Yes.
Okay. We got Representative Nick Bain in the studio with us. We're talking about fentanyl, and we'll dig into some of the other matters and legislative issues he's tracking and promoting when we come back. That right now. We got Representative Nick Bain in the studio.
Dusty Hill, the bassist.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, represents District 2. That is, his district encompasses only Alcorn County. Appreciate you clarifying that. All right, so we've been talking about this fentanyl situation, and one of the things that is so concerning just from an outsider is it's so nefarious. You can't tell, and I think that's the big danger and the risk, and it takes such a small amount.
It does.
But these dealers and these pushers and these profiteers on by pushing drugs, they don't care, as you say.
They don't. You know, we had hearings back last summer in Jud B. A number of people came. Law enforcement come from all over, moms and dads, and also some of the advocacy groups around the state. And they all said the same thing. You just don't know. And one of the things that came up during that hearing that we're going to present is a tablet press bill, a pill press bill.
Yeah.
You know, you understand somebody can get a Xanax or whatever, break it down, then lace it with fentanyl in some way, cut it some way with some fentanyl, and then put it back together, and people don't even know.
Yeah. That's what's so disturbing about this and why this is such a serious problem. All right, so you feel like you've got support in at least the House. What about over in the Senate?
I think so. I mean, I've talked with members over there. They've got the same issues, of course,
Sure.
that they have. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. Everybody wants to save lives. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's a fundamental function of government is
Sure.
to save lives, and this is what this legislation is aimed at. So I don't think there's going to be, you know, what the final product looks like, Gerard. We're early in the process, as you know. So I don't know what the ultimate final process product's going to look like. But getting through that process, I think everybody's on board with providing some remedy to this issue.
Yeah. And, I mean, this has just happened so rapidly. I don't remember hearing anything about this until last, 2 or 3 years? It seems like President Trump spoke a lot about it because it comes across the border.
That's
a lot
right.
of it does. And it was one of the reasons he wanted to get a wall built. But this has just kind of cropped up.
It really has. And candidly, I probably wouldn't know about it if I wasn't in for the legislature.
Yeah.
After talking to these people and being in the position that I am, you know, I do a lot of criminal work, as I said. But as far as how prevalent it has become, you know, it like you said, it just has happened overnight.
Yeah.
And that's what legislation is. Sometimes legislation is reactive and not proactive.
Yeah.
So we have to move because I can tell you that the cartel and those guys down there, they're way ahead of us on thinking about what's next.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the crooks are always out front on stuff like that. All right, well, we'll be tracking that for sure. So wanted to ask you about, I think you may be involved in this, and you and I share the common love for the game of baseball. I know you have sons that are playing the game of baseball. I've been involved in youth baseball for longer than I care to think about. Just means I'm getting older. My son, of course, still heavily involved in that. A bill that I think Representative Shanks is pushing regarding umpire assault, which is becoming a problem, believe it or not.
It is. You know, I got a text the other day from someone looking for umpires because they can't get people to work.
Yeah.
I talked to Ole Miss before I got here, and you know that the SEC was inquiring about this bill, and you're exactly right. What it does is it makes umpires, officials, any type of officials, basketball, football, soccer, whatever, makes them a protected class. So if somebody assaults them, they could be charged with aggravated assault. They could be charged with felony.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, they don't make anything to do that. Most of them doing it for the love of the game, to get out there and to do something to help the youth, whatever the case may be. And you've been to youth tournaments. I've been to youth tournaments. You've seen how they're treated.
Gets crazy.
And it's getting harder and harder to get people to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're trying to make them a protected class. You know, I've went back and forth with Fred about how I could somehow tie this into Tennessee fans throwing stuff at officials, but I hadn't figured out that yet.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's kind of sad, honestly, when you're finding more and more examples of this around youth sports and all sports, as you mentioned. The baseball thing, I guess, is of particular interest because typically in these tournaments, as you know, they get started at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times you're there till after midnight.
No doubt.
And it's the same set of umpires that just keep rotating. They don't make a whole lot of money doing it. It supplements their income some, but they enjoy doing it.
That's right.
And we need them to do it. And they ain't, major league umpires making $300,000 or $400,000 a year.
That's right.
Doing this, but the parents don't care, and to them, this might as well be the World Series, as you know.
That's right, and there's nothing more emotional than parents and children.
Absolutely.
And when you're looking at stuff like that and the games, and like you said, you're there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. Everybody gets tired, and feelings gets hurt.
Yeah.
So I understand, but we're just trying to protect people.
Yeah, I understand. All right, what else are you working on?
Yeah, we've got some other stuff, criminal justice stuff that we're going to look at. We're still facing this investigation from the feds, looking at our prison system. So we're looking at maybe some other type of criminal justice avenues to try to ease that burden that may be placed on us very soon by the feds. I've talked to people about potentially helping. One of the things that drives me crazy is, we have a disenfranchisement law in Mississippi where voters who or lose their right to vote if they commit certain felonies. Then there's a misnomer out there that if you commit any felony, you lose your right to vote.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's not the case. If somebody writes a bad check, Gerard, they lose the right to vote. But if someone is convicted of child pornography, they can still vote.
Unbelievable.
So I want to correct that inconsistency and give the bad check guy a little bit more leeway than the person who is exploiting a child.
Yeah, totally agree. That seems kind of upside down and inequitable in treatment and consequences. All right, Representative Bain, what do you think about the high-profile bills, shall we say? We've got the medical marijuana bill that is headed to the House now.
It is. I talked to Chairman Yancey about that, and he's working hard on it, and he's been a part of also this fentanyl stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Sam Creekmore. I am fully aware that medical marijuana is coming, and I support the idea of medical marijuana. The nuances that are coming, I don't candidly know all the nuances, but I do think, and I trust the Speaker, I trust Chairman Yancey in bringing us a good product that is going to allow people to get this service. Look, one of the other epidemics that we're facing, Gerard, is the opioid epidemic, just like fentanyl is the opioid epidemic. I do believe that medical marijuana provides a safer outlet for people who may be addicted to opioids. So I think it's something that we need to start to consider.
Well, you're right. It's the regulatory framework and the implementation. That's the complex. That's the thorny part of it. I think that's kind of a separate matter that, in general, supporting the right to access medical marijuana for treatment purposes.
I want to say something as well. You were a part of it, and I want to issue my thanks to you on the income tax bill. You were a part of it back in the summer when we had two-day-long hearings about it. I'm excited about the income tax.
Good. I am too.
I'm hoping that the Senate acts on it. I think it is a game changer for the state of Mississippi, and I hope your listeners understand that this is something. I had a friend of mine that lives up in Benton County this weekend said, look, we're moving to Tennessee because I pay so much in. Yeah. And I can live up there basically on the same cost of living right across the state line that I can in Benton County. He doesn't want to go, but he says it's cheaper, and he's still relatively around his home. So it's a game changer, and I hope your listeners realize that this is a generational impact for the state of Mississippi.
I agree. I support it as well, and I think the recent amendments that were made, or I should say improvements to the bill, are welcome and make it even better. Well, I think we got to get it done.
I appreciate you being active in it.
Oh, yes, sir. Appreciate that. And I think it's important. And we care about the state. We want to move it forward. Simple as that. Well, Nick, always a pleasure seeing you, sir, and appreciate you coming in today. I know we'll be talking more. I'll probably see you down at the Capitol for the sessions out.
No doubt, and you're always welcome in Jacinto.
I appreciate that. I love it up there. It's cool. We'll be right back. We've been talking to Representative Nick Bain. We got more on midday.